Hey Geminis, how y'all doing? Welcome. We're going to be taking a look at your first half of June general reading here. So in the meditation, very short but sweet, I was immediately taken to a jungle, and then in the, foreground was a gorilla eating a banana. Now, just stay with me here. Gorilla energy is that of the Emperor, Aries energy, right? Which is very much that masculine energy of setting tasks and completing them, making sure you're feeding the family, that everything is taken care of and provided for. It's that kind of patriarchal kind of action taking, nuts and bolts, ABCs, XYZs, everything is taken care of and seen to. There's no loose ends, right? No loose ends. Then I was taken to deeper into the jungle, and this I saw an image of Brendan Fraser. I think that's his name, Brendan Fraser as George of the Jungle. Fascinating. There's a movie like from many years ago called George of the Jungle, and I saw this Tarzan, almost like a caricature, really, swinging from vine to vine, and I saw, there's an energy within that of freedom, right? And just like swinging vine to vine. You don't necessarily know what's coming next, but you trust that there's going to be another vine there that will get you to the next vine and the next vine and the next vine, right? But it's a free flowing, movement. It's not necessarily like, I'm in a car and then there's like signposts and then I take this exit. There's very much a game of chance inherent if you think about traveling by vine, which is what this feels like. It's like traveling by vine. Like it's like you're swinging from one to the next, trusting that there's going to be the next vine when you're ready for it. But there's no way to map out which vines are going to be where before you start swinging. There's something in that. Anyway, so I saw the swinging the vine to vine, and then I saw like someone try to impose like a business suit onto this Tarzan. And I just saw them like avoid it and like nope, not for me. I want to stay in my little tunic loincloth swinging in the jungle because I can't be wearing a suit in the jungle, right? I'll sweat it off. But I think it's more about that suit is a symbol of restriction. And how can one swing from vine to vine whilst restricted? Like it's, I feel like there's an aspect of like freedom versus restriction inherent within this. So just avoiding this business suit and swinging from vine to vine within this place of freedom and happenstance. And then I saw this Tarzan character stand like on this, cliffside. And then I saw, in standing there, all of these, like I saw these bits of clothing be drawn to this like Tarzan person. And it was like exactly what, as the Gemini collective, like exactly what you needed. But it only came as a result of you saying no to things that are restrictive in nature or not what you're feeling like is good for you in a given moment. And by knowing what to say no to, the yeses came to you. And that feels incredibly important. It's like knowing what to say no to so that your yeses can find you. The things that you want to say yes to can find you only if you say no to other things beforehand. That feels incredibly important, which takes us back to that gorilla, that emperor energy of the emperor has to know what to say yes and no to, right? But also has no qualms about doing it because the emperor always has his eye on the bigger picture. So I feel like there's something to that. Rigidity versus flexibility, and knowing how to move within those two energies from a place of freedom, determination, and discernment. So let's go ahead and see what your cards have to say. Hey Gemini, let's go ahead and see what your animal energy is the first half of June. By the way, I would be remiss not to say a very happy birthday season to you, Gemini. I almost forgot. Very happy birthday season to you guys, Gemini. Very happy birthday. Let's see what your animal energy is. Oh, interesting. So we got the butterfly here. Let's talk about it. So the butterfly equates to the Three of Swords in the Tarot. The reason for that is that the Three of Swords is about the kind of pain that transforms us, right? It can transform us for the better, it can transform us for the worse, but our past absolutely has a say in our present and possibly in our future if we do not heal from those past wounds, right? We don't necessarily want our past to have a say in what's going to happen down the road, right? Ideally, anyway. We're spiritual, beings having a human experience, though. So in human bodies, of course, we are subject to the human experience and all that entails. But, this very much is saying, like, I feel like there's this invitation about, what could be and what's coming up in the future. And then also, these aspects of the past with this Three of Swords transformation energy that's saying, the fact that this is an air energy here, and a butterfly literally flies above everything, but only after it's gone through the previous stages of cocoon, or rather egg, caterpillar, and then chrysalis, right? And only then can it fly, once it's gone through the pain of transformation, right? That is not a comfortable situation in that cocoon, literally turning to goo and then building growing wings, and then being trapped within those, like rather restrictive surroundings before it can break free and fly at the exact right time. It's an interesting parallel between what I was seeing in the meditation between, Tarzan, kind of going, nope, no business suit, that won't let me fly where I want to go. And then only after saying no to this and that, was he able to stand still and have his yeses find him. So it's really interesting. I feel like that is a very core element. I mean, what to say yes to and what to say no to, because I feel like there's an aspect of flight. I saw you flying in the jungle. We're looking at a flying animal here. There's something about that. So let's go ahead and see what is going on. What is going on? What is going on? Butterfly, of course, represents metamorphosis and change. So that's also here as well. Perfect. So we have the Two of Wands. So let's talk about it. The Two of Wands, first of all, the wands rule the realm of the actions that we do or do not take, usually around the work that we love to do, but also about our interpersonal relationships about which we are most passionate, right? So it's all that beautiful fire energy. Now, the Two of Wands is about preparedness. It's about facts and figures and getting everything ready so that you have a firm foundation from which to grow. Right? Then the Three of Swords comes in, and it's all growth and movement ahead from that point. But this is about, getting that foundation really strong. So it's interesting here that we're looking at this foundation. It's also giving me Emperor vibes with like the red cape and the looking out. And then look at the feather in his hat, which is another sign of air. And of course, you guys as Gemini are air signs. So there's something about being airborne within this. And then tell me that red ribbon is not giving me like a vine feeling as well. So it's really interesting here, right? Like how this is coming forth. But it feels like there's a real, I feel the separation between like, being midair and then landing on your feet. And it feels like that's what's going on right now. It feels like you're midair. The question is, how will you move through the air? Like, will you go vine to vine, right? Or are you going to sort of maybe say yes to things that even though you want to say no? That feels incredibly important, okay? What else is going on for right. Felt this was coming. So justice. Now, what's really interesting about this is that this is Libra energy, right? So for every zodiac sign, I have an animal that I equate to that sign. Now, Libra is represented as the butterfly. So it's very interesting that you're getting Libra energy, which is kind of like a double butterfly moment. Justice, traditionally speaking, is about legal matters, right? It's about balanced scales, everything being just and fair. You know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing that saying of, what is that saying where it's like, a truly good compromise is where neither party feels like they've won. Why do I feel like that's coming through? There's something in that for you. But in terms of this justice energy as well, this is a really beautiful indication. Oh, look at the two wands and then look at the two pillars and the two scales. Why do I feel like you're being called that the solutions lies somewhere in the middle of like two extremes or 2 points of view. Also, as a Gemini, hello, you're able to see both sides of something equally as well. And I feel like that's a power point for you coming up around this time, where the more able you are the more that you are able to see your situation, opportunities, challenges, tasks, whatever that is, from both sides, to allow use your Gemini superpower to consider both sides of something and then move from there, the better. It feels incredibly important to say. But when justice comes up, of course, it's a major arcana. Things are going to work out as they're meant to, is the key there. They're going to work out how they're meant to. Also, again, with this red robe, I feel like the Emperor is sitting here just watching this entire reading going like, all right. But there's this energy where you are midair, but there's this aspect of it, right, where it's not just about how you spend this time, but it's not about where you'll land either, but it's really about knowing that this is a moment in time and that everything is going to work out as it's meant to. And that feels incredibly important to say. It feels incredibly important to say. I'm also hearing, if you have difficult moments of anxiety or sadness or whatever we as humans can experience on the spectrum of feeling, right? Because it looks like he's looking to the past. Don't be afraid to look at the past, especially with this Three of Swords, and think about how might your past experiences be affecting your now perspective. Because that does not feel like the way. that is not the way. You know how the Mandalorian says, like, you know, this is the way. That is not the way. Like, see how he's looking to the past and then she's looking straight ahead. It's the now is the way. That's what it feels like, right? Be mindful of how your past, you know, experiences, disappointments, traumas, fears, whatever, could be affecting your now perspective and how you approach this time. What else, Gemini? Oh my Lord. So good. Okay. We got the Six of Cups here, which is really brilliant for you guys because Six of Cups is about what? The past. But it's also about nostalgia. So I would say that this is the happiest past key we have in the tarot, right? This is really positive. So Six of Cups, sort of the medicine around it, is about like these children here. It's about knowing that this is about the now moment. Now, what did I literally just say about, you know, the now is the way? That's what this is. This perspective of these kids is on these flowers in these cups, right? What would happen if I turned the cup upside down? What would happen if I put my hand under that water? What would happen if I splashed my sister? What would happen if I rolled around in the grass? That is the perspective and the experience of a child this age, right? And there's a certain beauty to that. And when I think about how this ties into the meditation in terms of Tarzan, wasn't Tarzan unspoilt by the world at large? Wasn't he in his own pre-industrial revolution every day, all day? Right? Because there was this freedom from, like, you know, having to be anywhere at a certain time or do this or pay for this or think about this, right? So it's interesting how this is coming forth here in this context with the Six of Cups here. But again, this is the past, but in a really positive way in the now moment. So again, there is this very direct link to be mindful of how your past may be informing your current perspective or your decisions, right? And you're really being called to really step into your adult experience and see what's right in front of you now, free from past influence and free of, you know, future anxieties as well. Can you consider your choices, your potential from the now moment? That is what's coming up for you here. And on the other side of doing that is flight and freedom, right? It's really beautiful. Let's go ahead and get your advice. Why don't we, though? Advice for Gemini, first half of June. First half of June, first half of June, first half of June. Oh, oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. Ace of Swords. Okay, let's talk about how brilliant this is. So first of all, this is the penultimate sword energy of the air signs. Of course, Gemini, this is pointing straight to you. Why I love this so much is because the tagline for this key is the answers lie in the stillness. Oh, I love it so much. Do you remember when I saw at the end of the meditation, like Tarzan being still on that cliffside and all of his yeses coming to him? Like literally, the answers lie in the stillness. Now, what's really such a beautiful blessing, well, first of all, traditionally speaking, and then I want to talk about panda medicine because that's the real gift of this advice. So traditionally speaking, Ace of Swords is about big realization, big truth. It can be signing contracts. It can be linking it back to legal system, legal agreements, or signing a lease or anything that is legally binding. But this is also about writing, right? Getting things down, the written word on the page, the truth of something, your story, all of that, right? Big clarity, big aha moments as well. Answers, right? The answers lie in the stillness. So Panda, why this is so brilliant and perfect is that Panda energy is about viewing your situation and everyone around you through the lens of perfect love, right? That's Panda energy. Because you see how the panda is black and white, and then we were talking about, you know, the two scales, the two pillars, the two wands, then we have two kids here, and we're looking at the Gemini superpower, being able to see both sides of something, and then we have the black and white here, and what is it? Like the truth is in the gray area, right? It's like that Rumi quote that I always hear whenever I see either panda or lemur or any other black and white animal, really, which is like out beyond right doing and wrongdoing is a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond right doing and wrongdoing is a field. I'll meet you there. That feels very important for you during this time, right? But it feels really good with this panda energy because there's also this aspect of this that says, again, Lady Justice is blind, right? Everything is going to work out within your highest and best good, but not just of like of everyone involved in all, directions of time and space. Everything is going to be exactly as it's meant to be. And the way that you can best work with this energy as it is, especially when this is your advice, is to view your situation and everybody else around you as much as you can, right? Yes, through the now moment, from the present moment, but through a lens of perfect love, through compassion. It's like that Bible quote, right? Which, it's a very famous quote, but love is patient, love is kind. Extend that love to yourself, extend that love to your given circumstances, extend that love to choices that are kind of come up for you. That's what this very much feels like, right? And this is very much similar to what I saw Tarzan standing like on this cliff and having the yeses come to him. I feel like there's a certain superpower or strength in knowing when to lay down your sword and really just do less and trust that everything is in alignment, and really knowing what to say no to so that you can be greater aligned with your yes moments and your yes opportunities. And again, just to emphasize it again, being mindful about how your past or your Three of Swords points might be affecting you and or the people around you in some way, shape, or form. It feels important. Let's go ahead and get an oracle here. Oracle for Gemini. But this is definitely a time of change. It's definitely a time of transformation. And we're looking at the butterfly here. Could be some, up and down moments, as is, life. But the best way to traverse through that is to know that everything is going to work out how it's meant to, where it's everyone's highest and best good. By focusing on the now moment and the pleasure of what's in front of you, and then realizing as well that the more that you can see both sides of something, the more you will have, or the more you'll have access to clarity, right? Seeing both sides of something leads to clarity. Okay, let's get an oracle. Oh, so good. The High Lord of Gratitude and Service, Selflessness, Humility, Conscious Action. I mean, doesn't the panda just go so well? So I really love this. The High Lord of Gratitude and Service, Selflessness, Humility, Conscious Action. So when we think about selflessness, humility, we've got this monk here, right? Which is interesting because remember that the tagline for this is that the answers lie in the stillness. And then we have the monk who spends a lot of time in meditation, right? selflessness, humility, conscious action. You know, this really speaks of considering the greater good of everyone, right? It's not just about you. It's not just about me. It's really about everybody involved. So it's really interesting that we're looking at it in that context. But I'm really hearing that if you can, I keep hearing it, if you can see someone else's perspective as well as your own, it's not so much coming up outside of your ego to do so. It's more knowing that there's an opportunity for clarity in doing so. If you can just consider another side to something, another aspect of something, someone else's perspective, there's something, another side of something that you're being asked to see or consider, or another side of a potential that if you do is going to lead to just like more clarity that feels really important. But there's also an aspect here too with the High Lord of gratitude and service. I mean, that's it. Gratitude and service. When we help others, we help ourselves, right? The best way to come up out of, you know, your own situation or your own, you know, whatever is going on with you that, you know, you might need a healthy distraction from is to go and serve others. That is the greatest shift in perspective you could ever possibly achieve, is when you go and act in service to others. That is the quickest way to forget your problems. Go help others solve theirs, or go help others in some way, shape, or form. That is the T. That is the T, right? There's something inherent within us that really gains so much from coming from that love place of, you know, coming up outside of ourselves and our own anxieties or past wounds or whatever it is, and going, how can I be of help to someone else who needs it? How can I be of service? That is such a medicinal you know, action to take or place to be in. So really think about during this time as well how you can be of service to others, because that feels incredibly helpful and really beautiful, and not in a way where you're going to get necessarily anything back from it, as opposed to the feel goods from having, you know, done something for someone else. So that's a really, really, really beautiful oracle to line up with your advice of the Ace of Swords. Really, really beautiful, because both of them speak of a pure love energy, right? Really, really gorgeous, Gemini. I am sending you so many blessings for your first half of June. I so hope that this helps and resonates. If so, please let me know in the comments below, because I love reading your comments. Please like, subscribe. Please like, share, and subscribe. I so appreciate that. And with that being said, yeah, just thank you so much for being here. And as always, and most of all, beautiful birthday people, Gemini folk, thank you so much for being you. And be well. Until next time.